Jose Acuna Valenzuela, 11 years on death row. In 2014, he was found guilty of killing 24-year-old Edgar Sigala in 2011 while he and his lady friend were leaving an ice cream shop in Phoenix at 75th Avenue and Indian School Road. John Allen, 8 years on death row. In November 2017, John Allen was found guilty of killing 10-year-old Amy Deal in Phoenix in 2011. 4 family members, including Allen, were accused of punishing the child by making her work out in the blazing July heat and then confining her overnight in a 31-inch-long footlocker. Samantha, Allen's then wife, received a death sentence as well. Frank Anderson, 27 years on death row. In 1998, Anderson was found guilty of committing 3 murders in Mohave County in 1996. The deaths of Lita Kagan, 39, her son, 15-year-old Robert Delahunt, and Roland Weir, 50, were attributed to him and Robert Poison. Poison received a death sentence as well. Wendy Andriano, 21 years on death row. She was found guilty in 2004 of killing her husband, Joe Andriano, in 2000 by stabbing him after he had been bludgeoned by a bar stool while suffering from cancer. Shad Armstrong, 25 years on death row. Armstrong was found guilty in 2000 of killing his sister and her fiancé after she planned to surrender to the police for a burglary she and her siblings committed in 1996. Patrick Barrop, 18 years on death row. Barrop was found guilty in 2007 of beating and killing Mark Mates in 2002. Along with Sean Gaines, Jeremy Johnson, and Jessica Nelson, Barrop assisted in beating, shooting, and hurling Mates off a cliff in the isolated Crown King neighborhood north of Phoenix. Nelson suspected Mates of taking money from her while they were living together at the time of the murder. Gaines, Barrop, and Johnson conspired to take care of this matter when she begged them for help. Trent Benson, 14 years on death row. The killings of 2 Mesa sex workers in 2004 and 2007 led to Benson's 2011 conviction. He abandoned them at the side of the road after beating them both to death. Steve Boggs, 20 years on death row. Boggs was found guilty in 2005 of killing Beatriz Alvarado, 31, Kenneth Brown, 27, and Fausto Jimenez, 30, in May 2002. Boggs and Christopher Hargrave robbed a Mesa Jack-in-the-Box. Hargrave had been let go a month prior. Before escaping with cash stolen from the victims and registers, they pushed 3 workers into a cooler and shot them multiple times in the back. Hargrave received a death sentence as well. Eric Boyston, 16 years on death row. Boyston was found guilty in 2009 of the stabbing deaths of family friend Timothy Wright and the February 2004 killings of his grandmother, Mary Boyston, and his uncle, Alexander Boyston, whom he stabbed. During the outburst, he also shot and injured his great-aunt and an ex-girlfriend. Jonathan Burns, 15 years on death row. Burns was found guilty in 2010 of essaying and killing Jacqueline Jackie Hartman in 2007. Her body was abandoned in the desert by him. Jason Bush, 14 years on death row. In 2011, Bush was found guilty of killing 29-year-old Raul Junior Flores and his 9-year-old daughter Brisenia Flores in 2009. According to the prosecution, Flores was targeted for narcotics and money to fund anti-immigration actions by border activist Shauna Ford and her accomplices, Jason Bush and Albert Gasiola. Gasiola received life in prison, while Ford and Bush received death sentences. Michael Jonathan Carlson, 13 years on death row. In 2012, Carlson was found guilty of killing 52-year-old Rebecca Lou Lofton and 49-year-old Kenneth Elliman in 2009. Alan Champagne, 8 years on death row. In 2017, Champagne was found guilty of killing Brandy Hoffner and Philmon Tapaha in 2011. Their remains were discovered clothed, mummified, and covered with lime after Champagne buried them in his mother's backyard. Derek Chappell, 18 years on death row. In 2007, Chappell was found guilty of killing his girlfriend's 2-year-old kid at an apartment building in March 2004. Chapel held the von Hinman Shackelford underwater after escorting the toddler to the pool of their condominium building. The boy's body was then left behind as Chapel left. Scott Drake Claiborne, 43 years on death row. In 1982, Claiborne was found guilty of essaying and killing a University of Arizona student he had met at a pub in Tucson in 1980. After strangling her, he stabbed her 3 times in the heart before disposing of her body in an arroyo. Larry Langston, Claiborne's accomplice, entered a guilty plea to murder and was given a life sentence. Benjamin Cota, 16 years on death row. In 2009, Cota was found guilty of killing Guadalupe Zavala, 40, and Victor Martinez, 73, a couple from Peoria who had hired him to renovate their house in December 2003. After waiting for the couple to get home, Cota killed Martinez with a hammer before stabbing and slicing Zavala. He lived in the house for a week after hiding their bodies in a bedroom closet and wrapping them in plastic. Robert Cromwell, 22 years on death row. In 2003, Cromwell was found guilty of killing and essaying his girlfriend's 11-year-old daughter in a house in Phoenix in 2001. Unclothed and with 13 stab wounds to her back, the girl was discovered in the main bedroom. Leroy Cropper, 26 years on death row. In 1999, Cropper was found guilty of stabbing Brent Lumley, a Perryville Corrections officer, because Lumley had knocked over a photograph of Cropper's mother 2 years earlier. Cropper got a narcotics conviction and was serving a year in prison. John Cruz, 20 years on death row. Cruz was found guilty in 2005 of killing a police officer by shooting him in 2003. Cruz fired 5 close-range shots at the officer while trying to avoid capture. Cruz was not allowed to inform jurors that he would not be eligible for parole if he were given a life sentence, according to the U.S. Supreme Court, which sent his case back for a fresh sentencing hearing in 2023. Donald Delahanty, 16 years on death row. In 2009, Delahanty was found guilty of killing Phoenix police officer David Uribe during a traffic check in May 2005. David Detrick, 30 years on death row. In 1995, Detrick was found guilty of killing Elizabeth Souther in 1989. After a botched drug deal infuriated Detrick, he led Souther into the desert where he essayed her and then killed her. Eugene Doer, 29 years on death row. In 1996, Doer was found guilty of essaying and killing Karen Bowl in 1994. He said he had no idea what had happened when he called the police to report a deceased woman in his bedroom. Doer was covered with blood, and Bowl was discovered on the floor with cuts to her skull. Please hit that subscribe button if you like my channel. See you next time. Bye-bye.